Alright, so my name's Al Gnomi, you know by now, and tonight I'm going to talk to you about the creative process. So we're all in school, so we're all required from time to time to come up with creative ideas. And, search in the depths of your brain for unique and exciting things to write or talk about is a complicated procedure. There are many, many ways to come up with things, to seek inspiration. However, if you're like me, you know there is one source of motivation that inspires beyond all others, and that is last-minute desperation. So, tonight, on that note, tonight I'm going to tell you how to procrastinate like a true champion. I'll start from the beginning of an assigned project. I'll work my way through days leading up to the deadline, and then I'll tell you what to do when you are just a few hours away from deadline time. So let's do it. A true procrastinator knows that you never start an assignment at the very beginning when it's first assigned. But he or she also knows that you don't admit that you're not starting it because you're procrastinating. You're not starting it because you're an adult and you have responsibilities to take care of. You have bills to pay. You have laundry that needs to get done. You've got that trip to the DMV that you got to make, and God knows that's probably going to take all day. So what you do when you first get an assignment, you go home, you make a mental list of all the things that you need to do as a responsible adult that take precedence over your homework assignment. And you pat yourself on the back for being responsible, and then you don't do any of those things. Not one. This is important. This is key. You go and you play video games instead. Or if you're not antisocial like I am, you go to the club or whatever. It doesn't matter. You just don't do those things. That brings us to a day or two before the deadline. Now you start thinking about the project a little more. You start to sweat. You haven't really done any research, so you don't even know if your topic is going to work yet. But you still don't start the project because now all those things that you didn't do 3 days ago, you have to do those things now. You have to actually make that trip to the DMV that you were going to do 3 days ago. You have to pay your bills and you have to do your laundry, or else you're going to have to wear your socks for 3 days in a row. That's disgusting. So you do those things instead, and you push the assignment back even further. And you just tell yourself you're pulling all-nighter, or you'll wake up super early if you have to. That brings us to the night before the assignment or the day of, depending on when you have class. You didn't pull an all-nighter if you're a true procrastinator, and you didn't wake up early. So now you just have a few hours left. Now this is where we divide real procrastinators and amateur procrastinators. Because an amateur will buckle at this point. They will do the work. They'll flip out, and they will finally sit down, push away all other distractions, and try to push out a decent product. Don't fall into this trap. So if you're inspired by last-minute desperation, you need to push the limit even further. This is where what I call small time wasters come in. Facebook is fan-freaking-tastic for this. Check your status updates. Who knows if Becky thought what you said was funny? You need to know. Check that first. Check your phone. Maybe somebody emailed you a picture of a cute dog. My stepmom does it 24 times a day for some reason. So check your email instead. The point is, you rely on these small time wasters because they still push off the inevitable, but just by a tiny amount, so you don't feel too bad for doing them. Daydreaming is good. At this point, you're starting to worry a lot. So maybe you start fantasizing about things that will stop you from going to class today. Maybe a drunk driver will drive through your window. That would at least put things off for a couple days. Perfect. So let's recap. First few days after assignment is given, you put it off because you have important things to do. Days leading up to the deadline, you put it off because now you actually have to do the important things that you said you were going to do. And the last few hours before your deadline is when we bring in the small time wasters. Now, if you use these tips, you've put yourself in a prime position for last-minute desperation, if you're actually motivated by that. If you're not, then you just screwed yourself. But if you are, then watch the words fly onto paper. Thank you.